Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're going to speak about 5 ways that my autism has affected my friendships. So this is my ability to make friends, socialising, friendships, maintaining them. So yeah, let's go. So this video has been quite hard for me to come up with the 5 ways that my autism has affected my friendships, because I have ADHD and I'm also autistic. I've had to kind of really sit down and think about and separate both of my diagnoses, and that is really hard because they both overlap and interlink really quite often, like a lot. They both kind of collide and it's really hard to tell them apart, like what's autism, what's ADHD. So this one has been quite a tricky video to almost script and come up with. So these 5 ways are really unique to me. These are, you know, comorbid with my ADHD, so you have to remember that. Number 1 for me is I really struggle to read and understand people's body language. So I quite often misinterpret and misunderstand people's body language, their kind of, just their presence. I really struggle to read the room in a lot of social situations. I struggle to be able to know if that person wants me with them or if I'm bugging them. I will automatically feel like this person doesn't want me with them, because that's just how I feel. Unless they're showing expression really clearly on their face, I struggle to read that body language and that emotion. I really struggle. So reading someone's body language and reading someone's emotion and understanding and knowing how to react to that said body language or said emotion is a huge struggle for me, and it has made friendships really tense because I just feel like I don't have a connection, and I just struggle with people anyway. I struggle connecting to humans. I can only really connect to dogs because humans just don't know how to connect. I just don't know how to bond. It's never come naturally. But body language and reading and understanding kind of people's emotions have never been a thing that I've ever been good at, and it's definitely not something that I'm good at now. I still massively struggle to understand and read people's emotions and body language. So yeah, that's number 1. So number 2 is you have to bear with me with this one because I don't really know how to explain it. I only really know how to explain it in one way, and it can come across the wrong way. So just bear with me and let me explain it before you think what is she on about? So the only way that I can explain this is by saying basically I get easily attached and kind of hyper fixated on said friend. So a lot of people can become really hyper focused and hyper fixated on their special interests, right? I've never really had that experience. I've never really found something that I'm really interested in. I really struggle to have that interest in anything really. But when it comes to friends and people, I can become really attached, and they don't actually have to be a friend. So I had a teacher that was my teacher at school, and I became overly attached to this said teacher because I felt like she understood me. So I naturally the only word that I can describe it is clingy and overly attached to somebody, and I almost wanted to call her my nan because I had that vibe, and I could only connect it to a grandparent kind of feel, and that's in my head. I automatically associated this person with that emotional bond and connection that I had with my grandparents, and it was almost wrong. I shouldn't have done it, and I become really overly obsessed and overly fixated on this said person, and it's unhealthy. And in a lot of situations, friendships as well, relationships, I've just become really absorbed and basically obsessed and easily attached with friends and a person. It doesn't come across the way that it's intended to. In my head, I think that if someone wanted to be with me all the time, they wanted to be in my space, wanted to I would feel very secure and very comforted by that. I would find that that's a very obvious to me, a very obvious body language and emotion that just explains that this person likes you and wants to be around you. But other people don't. Neurotypical people will see that as obsessiveness, a clingy, but they don't understand that I don't mean to come across like that. And like I say, it's ruined friendships, it's ruined things that I have, relationships, professional relationships, personal relationships, friendships. It's ruined said relationships of friendships because it comes across the wrong way. And I really struggle, and I actually get scared to now like want to make friends or get close to somebody, because I know that this happens, and I know because I've almost had like people like give it to me back as feedback, like, you're too clingy, you're too much, like you're suffocating me. And that feedback has made me very aware that I am like this, and like I can now look back at like past relationships, friendships, like personal, professional relationships, and I can see myself being that way. I never want to come across like that again, because I don't, it doesn't make me feel very good. It makes me feel like I'm just a weirdo that is just overly obsessed and weirdly, strangely obsessed with people. So I try my hardest to like not get that close to people, and I think again that is a barrier to making and maintaining friends, because I don't want to come across too much, so I don't really give anything. Like I don't give any of my emotion or any of my like kind of emotion, or like any, I just struggle, because I feel like I don't want to get obsessed, I don't want to come across the wrong way, so I almost like back off. And again, I don't give enough for someone to be like, oh, you want to be around me, because I give nothing off, because I'm like, I'm either going to give you too much or not enough, and I'd rather give you not enough, because I don't want to come across like this weirdo that's just like attaching myself to you. So again, that's been another thing that has made friendships, relationships very, very difficult for me. So number 3 is I really struggle making and maintaining eye contact. So I'm either giving like you too much, and like I said, like I'm either direct in your eye and people are like, stop, that's like freaky, like blink, or I just don't give you eye contact and it comes across really rude and like I'm arrogant, like I'm just not listening, and I'm being, I'm just ignoring you, and yeah, it doesn't come across very good. Like I just comes across like I'm a rude person, when actually in fact I just struggle making and maintaining eye contact. For some reason in society, if I'm not making eye contact with you direct, that somehow means that my ears have switched off and I am not listening. Don't come at me. I didn't make that social rule. I don't understand that. Again, having ADHD doesn't help that, because I am easily distracted and like my brain focuses on other things, but that doesn't mean I'm not listening. All throughout school, I was told like,
Molly, look at the teacher as she's talking to you. Just look at her in the eye. Like, just keep eye contact. It's rude. Stop looking away. Look at the teacher. Like, she's talking to you. Don't be rude. Look at her.
If I'm not looking you dead in the eye, there's more of a chance that I'm actually listening, because when I'm in a conversation and I'm sat like looking at you in the eye, I'm not listening, because in my head I'm thinking, Molly, look them in the eye. Molly, look them in the eye. Look, Molly, no, not that much. Blink. Oh, Molly, no, don't stare like a psychopath. No, Molly, just blink. Act normal. Just look like you're looking at them in the eye, like normal. Just look. Don't be too intense. Just make sure you're looking them in the eye, but not too much in the eye. Just enough in the eye that they think that you're listening. Just look them in the eye. It's not that difficult. So that's what the conversation is like in my head with myself. So if I'm like looking around the room, like if I'm talking and I'm just like, yeah, and I'm just like, looking around the room, I'm more than likely listening to you, because I don't have that pressure to look you dead in the eye, and I'm not telling myself, blink, no, you're being too intense. That's what goes on my head when I'm trying to fit into this social norm of eye contact. Like, it doesn't work for me. So number 4 is I'm quite a literal thinker. So I'm a black and white thinker, right? I have very unrealistic expectations of friendships, relationships, anything really. I have quite black and white literal thinking, and I think if it's not like that, then that's not right. So I mean, maybe it's because I grew up as a Disney kid and I liked all the Disney films. Not that I could focus on them long enough to really watch them, but I absorbed them. And I think I have an unrealistic expectation of a friendship. So when it comes to friendships, if they don't meet my like Disney dream of a friendship, then in my head it's like, that's not working. Like that person doesn't like you. Like they aren't putting in, they don't like you. And I think I have this unrealistic expectation because I really struggle with social situations. And I think in my head, I want friends so bad that I think friendships are going to be like going out every day, or this person coming over your house, having cute little sleepovers, doing this. But really, in reality, it does not work like that. And as you get older, friendships do become, like, they do become something different. And that's, I think, where I struggle, because I struggle with understanding the reality of a friendship. It's not all about this Disney, you know, reality that I have of what a friendship is. I have an unrealistic expectation of friendships, and I think that's where most of my problems stem from, because like I say, I'm a black and white literal thinker, and unless it's this, then it's not right. Unless it's that, it's not right. And I think that's where most of my social issues and friendship come from, because I can't, you know, like I say, I see it one way, and if it's not that way, it's wrong. And I've tried to like retrain my brain to think that things happen and relationships are different in real life. They're not all like this Disney thing. They're not all what you see on TikTok or Instagram. You know, there is, yeah, basically, you know what I'm on about. I'm not going to sit here gassing, but yeah. So number 5 is rejection, sensitive dysphoria. So like I say, I have ADHD too, so a lot of this could be like mixed, but I've tried my hardest to like separate this, and I think it comes more from my autistic traits than my ADHD. So in a way, right, I'm going to quickly just explain this to you. My ADHD is very kind of like spontaneous, over friendly, like really like want to be going out, and you know, I would be really, really vulnerable, to be honest, if I let my ADHD kind of take over, because I'd just go out and make friends with everybody, forget about the consequences of trusting everybody, and I just want to make friends with everyone, right? That's how my ADHD is. But with my autism, I really struggle, like I say, with body language, knowing if I'm, you know, doing things right, if I'm being too much, or you know, I copy and paste a lot of other people's personalities, because that masking is my coping mechanism. So when I'm in a scenario where I don't have like that camouflage mask on, I really, really struggle. Life is really unpredictable, and that's what I struggle with. And I will perceive rejection regardless if it's there or not. So like, I will think, oh, this person isn't acting like what I think that friend should be acting like, so they don't like me no more. And like, they probably aren't even like thinking anything. They're probably just thinking like, I don't know, like, oh, what time did I pay for the parking to be? But I'll be thinking, they want to leave, they don't like me, they've had enough, like, quickly think of a way to get out of this situation. Like, that's what my head runs to. And I think because I've had such negative experiences with friendships in the past, like, I have held on to that feeling of rejection and that feeling of like, I don't even know, just like not being liked and not being accepted by people. I've held on to that really intense, overwhelming feeling of not being wanted in groups and social groups. So I think now I've almost like always thought that everyone's going to do that to me, and I almost hold it against everybody, because I'm just like, I'm gonna prepare for the worst. I'm gonna put these social barriers up because I am not prepared to go through the heartbreak of losing another friend, or going through this friendship breakup. I can't allow myself to get hurt anymore. So I put up these barriers, and I think I almost isolate myself because I'm so petrified of the feeling of being rejected, because I've had it all my life. And growing up like feeling rejected and feeling so different to everyone, I've prepared myself for the worst all of the time. It's just like, I don't want to feel that overwhelming intense. I can't process the feeling of rejection. I really struggle with that feeling of anxiety, isolation, not feeling good enough, like work, like I honestly struggle a lot. It's really intense, and I don't know how to regulate that emotion. I don't know how to like verbalize it a lot, so I try to protect myself, and again, it doesn't always come across the best way. It almost feels like I'm distant, and people are like, well, you don't even want to be with me. Of course I do. Like, I want to be with you so much, but I don't want to get hurt. But people don't see that. They're like, well, why do you think, why are you assuming I'm going to be like that? Like, you must think I'm a horrible person. No, I don't. I just, you know, my brain just thinks everybody's going to hurt me and is out to get me, because I've had this feeling so many times. And so I've been hurt so many times. My brain is preparing me for the worst. So they are the 5 ways that I personally feel like autism has affected my ability to make and maintain friendships. Like, just affected friendships as a whole. I feel like these are the main 5 things that have really impacted my ability to make and maintain friendships. I hope this video has been relatable and you're able to think like, oh phew, I'm not alone, or like, wow, I've learned something. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.